Hi, I'm Ross, and I'm here with my friend James, and today we are going to be talking about a little indie movie you may have heard of, a little film called Zack Snyder's Justice League. Now, this has been a long time coming, and now we are here, and at long last, we have the cut of the movie that they don't want you to see. Personally, I always found the backstory and the production woes of this movie to be way more interesting than the actual movie itself, because it's just, heroes come together, they fight Big Gray Man who wants boxes and alien army, and they learn to punch together for good. I mean, I saw the original cut. You saw the original cut too,
I did,
right?
in theaters.
Yeah, as did I. I saw it opening night in a packed theater of four people.
I did not do that.
Yeah, the 2017 cut is borderline incoherent at times. Just it's very strange, and it's horrendous. It's horrible to look at. Personally, I'm not a Zack Snyder fan. I never really have been. I don't really like his take on these characters, not because I have any emotional attachment to Superman or Wonder Woman or anyone like that. I do like me some Batman, but I'm open-minded when it comes to Batman, as long as he's cool. That's kind of my rule.
Good rhyme.
What are your superpowers again?
I'm rich.
My main thought going into this movie, of course, was it couldn't possibly be worse, because the 2017 cut is just such a disaster.
Yeah. I just wanted to see if they could make it worse.
Right.
Luckily, I don't think it was as bad.
Yeah, I agree with that. Shockingly, Zack Snyder made a pretty okay movie. The only problem is it takes 4 hours to be okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, honestly, if you can't make a good, at least comprehensible 4-hour movie with all that time.
I can't think of a 4-hour movie off the top of my head that's universally hated. This is the mathematically better cut, because it's almost like every problem in the original cut is quote unquote fixed, because the biggest problem with Justice League as we all saw it initially was not that it was too stupid or too whatever. It was that it was clearly a patchwork of so many different ideas that just made no sense. So now we're seeing a more consistent, coherent version of the same story. Make no mistake, though. A lot of people seem to think this was going to be a wildly different movie, and it's really not.
No, not really. I mean, obviously there's some obvious scene changes, but the story overall is the same.
Yeah. It's not really a different Justice League. It's just more Justice League, more content, more context, definitely more time to breathe, which works in this movie's favor because it has to introduce so much.
I would say that there is less color in this one.
Definitely. But I mean, the disgusting saturation of the 2017 cut was so just awful to look at that I will take it. I will take the desaturation. I don't like it, but I'll take it. It seems like it was a decision made by a filmmaker, so I'll take it. The real interesting part of watching both of those, and by the way, only rewatch the 2017 cut if you're going to compare. Do not go back for any other sense. There's nothing to find there. There is nothing of value.
He said that you were the thirstiest young woman he ever met.
Comparing the two, what I really found is that there were so many things that I was surprised they cut. Characters like Cyborg and the Flash had way more going on, actual characterization and arcs, as opposed to the 2017 cut where they just kind of show up and it's Cyborg, it's the Flash, they're here now.
I really do appreciate that they really did a whole backstory and arc for Cyborg.
But in the big picture of this version of Justice League, I am not at all shocked that those massive reshoots and retooling happened, because this is unreleasable as a major commercial movie. It could only really exist in this form, I think, on a streaming service. Another problem is this is still building off the foundation of Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, which personally I really dislike.
It has to do with him. I made a promise to him on his grave.
There was a sense of closure, I guess. I am glad to some degree this story did get finished, even if it wasn't the exact ending they planned or wanted, but Zack Snyder seems pretty satisfied with this. If this is the last chapter of the Snyderverse and he can kind of walk away from it on a high note, then I say good.
Your mother and father would be proud.
Hope so.
If I was Zack Snyder...
I heard it. I heard you almost say it. James has a terrible habit of always saying Zack Snyder, and I don't know if he's doing it to mock me at this point or...
If I was Zachary, I would I would be happy.
Not to be sneezed at.
I didn't love it. It was fine, but I'm glad I saw it. I'm glad I got to see it. I think it's an interesting cultural curiosity either way.
Do you think years in the future that this might have like the same kind of fame as the final cut version of Blade Runner?
It has been treated as more of its own thing than a specific new release of the same movie, that I think that's what makes it special. I think that does give it a little more, not prestige, but it makes the story a little more notable and a little more interesting. And I think this will be probably the new go-to reference in pop culture for director's cuts, because people know the Blade Runner thing, but this was the first director's cut that I saw being discussed as openly and constantly.
They said the age of heroes would never come again.
Oh, well, it has to.
The most shocking thing is, for a 4-hour movie, the pacing is actually pretty good. The first half is really character focused, which I liked, and you get a real sense of who these people are. So when the big giant action sequence that every comic book movie ends with comes around, it made me feel how I like superhero movies to make me feel. I wasn't emotional or having any real reaction, just more of a being able to really connect with this universe and this version of these characters for the first time. It was kind of heartwarming in a way.
He was given the reins and he ran with it.
Oh, this is absolutely the most Zack Snyder indulgence I have ever seen in one sitting, and I was worried it would kill me. I was worried my heart couldn't take it, because Daddy Zack gives, but Daddy Zack taketh away.
He does. He probably knew that it probably didn't need to be 4 hours, but he was like, F it. I'm just going to put everything that I want to.
All cards on the table, yeah.
Which is why he has the, the nightmare sequence at the end. Honestly, a little bit. I kind of respect that.
Oh, no, I absolutely think it's a great bit to end your 4-hour movie with 12 trailers from movies that will never be made. It's great.
Because how many can die in your arms before you grow numb to death?
Jared Leto should never be in movies ever again.
Who's going to give you a reach around?
I kind of felt disappointed on two fronts, because it was not as bad as I wanted it to be. I wanted just complete insanity, and it was just fine. Mm-hmm. And it also wasn't good enough, I think, to justify the hype.
Yeah, I don't know. I went into it kind of expecting the same thing, and I will say that I liked it a little bit better.
Yeah, that final battle scene was
really good.
Legit very impressive. I was really getting into the movie then. I liked the Flash thing. I finally got to see the Flash do something cool on that scale in live action, and the TV show never could have given that to me. And the only unfortunate thing is, I will never sit through a 4-hour Zack Snyder movie again for any reason. Actually, a weird kind of hope I had for this movie was that it would be like the Zack Snyder Rosetta Stone, and I'd finally get it. His whole filmography would click. And that didn't quite happen, but I think I finally got what he was going for. But I just fundamentally don't really like that take on superheroes. Generally, I don't really care about superheroes at this point at all, but I do like them when they feel like real human beings, and Zack Snyder doesn't really like telling stories about people. He likes big ideas and symbols and mythology, and that's cool. There is some fun to be had there. It's just not really what I want. I get what he's going for. It's not for me. Honestly, I'm also very excited to just be able to talk and think about anything else, because it felt like for the last few months, this was all anyone was talking about, mostly on Twitter. But can we talk about a real movie for a change? Jesus, man.
Like Perks of Being a Wallflower.
Sure, I'll watch that someday.
The Snyder Cut.
Oh, that'd be good.
They're actually bringing Emma Stone back in for that.
Emma Stone, really?
Yeah, not Emma Harris. Or Jesus, the other one.
Who?
Emma Watson.
There you go. So yeah, what are your final thoughts on the Snyder Cut to wrap it up?
The DC movies, ever since Man of Steel, never really caught my attention that much. And Justice League, just for me, like Snyder Cut or not, I'm not a huge fan of the DC universe at the moment.
I say this should be the last time fans get what they want. This should be the last time. We've given them enough. We gave them Sonic. We've given them this. Shut up now.
We do have something to celebrate.
Like we said, good for Zack Snyder. Good for him for getting this out, for getting to wrap up his story on his terms, technically.
Yeah.
As close to his terms as they could be in this situation. And Zack Snyder really did start something. He started a real era of DC filmmaking, which they have been trying to repair ever since. Yes, but at the same time, he laid the groundwork for this entire universe.
Who knows? Maybe many years from now, people will look back and be like, wow, that
sucked. If this had been released in 2017, would you be excited for more of this, do you think?
No.
Really?
And I realize now, I think that's another reason why I don't really like these movies, is because I was never really looking forward to the next one.
Honestly, overall, I'm just glad to see the Snyder Cut actually does exist, because I was pretty sure for a good 3 years that it was just a prank on me specifically. Maybe Zack Snyder made all these movies bad as a bit. Have we considered that?